In this video, I'll be analysing the editing of the horror trailer Annabelle.
John, wake up.
What's that?
Next door, I heard a scream.
Stay here. Go check it out.
John? Is everything all right?
Oh my God, you're covered in blood.
Go back inside. It's not mine. It's not. Go back inside and call an ambulance right now. Go!
The beginning of the trailer has a very distinctive start by throwing the audience straight into the action and the horror. Whereas typically in a horror trailer we would see an equilibrium at the start where everything is normal and happy. However, Annabelle's beginning goes against this generic convention of typical horror trailers. Rather than a slower, more steady build-up of an equilibrium being established, instead we see more rapid and violent shots. The first shots we see are of the house and the couple, which fade in and out as the man goes to investigate next door after hearing strange noises. It is immediately here we believe something is not right, and these shots that fade in and out start to build the tension as to what's about to happen to the couple, but it also suggests the calm before the violence and the horror. As the woman goes looking for the man, we then see an over-the-shoulder shot of the man coming out of the house covered in blood. And instead of the shots fading in and out as before, it immediately cuts to the woman going back inside their home to call an ambulance. Changing the transitions of shots, such as going from the fade in and out shots to the cut shots, implies the calmness is over and danger is about to strike. After seeing a woman inside the couple's home, we then see a long duration black screen, which is about 3 seconds long. The cut to the black screen definitely suggests the couple are in danger, as black connotes evil and suffering and even can connote death. It also builds suspense for audiences, as we know the woman is inside the couple's home, however we don't know what's going to happen next. Also, because the black screen is such a long duration, it really builds the anticipation for the audience and keeps them on the edge of their seat. We then see rapid, fast-paced shots of violence which are short and quick duration. In these fast-paced shots, we see the couple being inflicted with danger and going through a traumatic time. This will immediately make the audience feel sympathetic towards the characters and build some feeling towards them, even though they haven't learnt much about them yet. After these rapid shots, it then zooms in to a close-up shot of the evil doll which the dead woman was holding, which is letting the audience know that this is the antagonist and villain within the film, and suggests to the audience that the couple will be targeted by this doll throughout the film. It is also setting the scene and telling the audience how the doll becomes evil, as we see the blood of the crazy woman goes into the eye of the doll, which clearly suggests it is possessing the doll. This in turn makes audiences more fearful for the characters, as they know the doll is now becoming evil and will taunt them. Although not a lot is learnt about the characters in the opening scenes, we do however learn they make bad choices, for instance going next door and leaving their door wide open to investigate strange noises. This suggests they were looking for danger. Additionally, it suggests the couple will make more bad choices throughout the film that will impact them later. I think this trailer decides to go for a more unconventional beginning by having more rapid and violent shots at the beginning rather than an equilibrium, which most trailers do, in order to grip the audience from the start and keep them on the edge to make them watch the whole of the trailer. After the close-up shot of the evil doll, it then cuts to a black screen, which is about 1 second long. It then immediately shows the institutional logos, which we would stereotypically see at the beginning of a horror trailer. We then begin to see shots fading in and out, showing the couple starting a new life and moving into a new home. This again is what we would usually see at the beginning of a trailer, as it is showing a more equilibrium and more happy environment in which the couple are in. These shots are much more slower and calmer, and they are also longer to show the couple looking stronger and happier as everything has become more balanced and normal after their traumatic experience. Also, the shots are much brighter, further emphasising their happiness and their new lease on life. During this part of the trailer, we begin to learn more about the couple. For instance, we see an establishing shot of where the couple have moved into. And it also begins to set the scene for audiences. However, because audiences witnessed the disruption at the beginning of the trailer, and now there is the equilibrium in the middle part of the trailer, the audience still have an anticipation for the characters to soon recognise something is not right, adding to the suspense of the film. Additionally, the equilibrium is tarnished for audiences by the fact they know the characters are still not safe and more terrible things are going to come. The happiness audience feels towards the characters is soon shattered as they see the couple unpacking their belongings, and the woman picks up the evil doll from the beginning of the trailer from one of the boxes. The man's reaction clearly indicates that it wasn't meant to be there. This suggests things are about to go wrong for the family. It then cuts to a shot of the camera zooming into the doll, like we saw at the beginning of the trailer. This is further suggesting it is the antagonist and is going to cause disruption for the family. It then cuts to scenes of the family's home and the doll, which are filmed at night time, and further emphasises the creepy atmosphere and the danger which is about to come. The audience can then see disturbances starting to show. For example, bad things are starting to occur, such as when the door begins to creak mysteriously on its own in the house. Title screens are also starting to appear, such as From producer James Wan and Before the Conjuring. By adding these title screens in, it will entice the audience more because James Wan is a successful horror film producer and The Conjuring is a successful and well-known scary horror film. So the audiences knowing this will intrigue them to go out and watch this film, knowing it is of a similar standard to previous films James Wan has made, or if it's similar to The Conjuring. During the middle part of the trailer, the shot duration has increased. For instance, the shot of the main protagonist lady sleeping on the sofa whilst the creepy woman walks through the house is around 10 seconds long. This scene is much longer than any other scene in the trailer, as it is a turning point in the narrative. It shows more clearly and makes it known to the audience that things are not right and they are going to get worse from here. Also, the fact that it is long duration shot creates more tension, making the audience feel uncomfortable and on edge, knowing that the characters are in danger. The next shot that is shown is a parallel action shot of the female character sewing, and then a shot of the creepy doll, as well as a shot of the popcorn cooking on its own in the kitchen. The duration between these shots starts off slow and begins to get faster until it builds up to the point where the woman cuts her finger and the popcorn is set on fire. The way in which these scenes are cut together makes it apparent to the audience that the doll has caused the woman to cut her finger and the popcorn to set on fire. Additionally, the shots getting faster in pace suggests to the audience that the doll is out to get the couple and is going to cause harm to them. It is also an establishment for audiences realising the horror is orientated around the doll. It is also an establishment and recognition from the character that something is not right, as it cuts to a scene of the woman getting dragged along the floor even though nothing is behind her. Towards the end of the trailer, the shots become much more shorter and of more variety. This suggests the characters have realised they are in danger and that the doll is the evil antagonist. For instance, we see shots of the woman establishing that unnatural things are happening in the characters' lives, such as the door slamming on its own and the doll appearing at the crack of the door. This contrasts to the shots we saw earlier on in the trailer of the family moving into their new home and starting their new life. It connects more with the scenes we saw at the beginning of the trailer, which were of terror and horror. This indicates to the audience that horror is building up and that things are about to go very wrong. It also creates a fearful atmosphere for them. A title screen then appears saying "Discover the Secret," which will tempt the audience to want to watch the film to discover what the secret is, as they may find out the cause to all of this horror. The climax stage of the trailer starts to begin, where we see fast-paced, short-duration shots. This is the part of the trailer where the most horror and action is seen. Shots of horror and violence are shown in order to make the audience feel more scared and on edge. Within 3 seconds there are around 6 different shots of violence and torture, and we see the characters in danger. Within these shots we see chaotic and frantic scenes of people screaming, running around, tables flying about, and the creepy face of the doll. The shots are kept very short, and there are a variety of different shots from throughout the film that are very rapid. This creates tension and builds horror for the audience. There are no long duration shots or slow pace shots during this climax of the trailer, as it aims to keep audiences feeling on edge and disorientated about the horror. These shots are often shown at the end of the trailer to fully build the suspense, making the audience want to watch the film to find out more and watch the full horror scenes. After the rapid shots are shown, it then slows down to a long duration scene. This shot lasts around 10 seconds, in which we see the main female character and an innocent looking girl in the next room. The woman is looking confused and scared as she doesn't know who this little girl is. And then after questioning her about it, the little girl begins to run at the woman, and as she gets to the door of the room the female character is in, she turns into the crazy possessed lady we saw at the beginning of the trailer. The woman has horrifying makeup and is dressed exactly as we saw at the beginning, with the blood on her costume. This shot leaves audiences feeling anxious and frightened, as well as sympathetic towards the protagonists who are going through this horrific situation. Often trailers leave audiences on a cliffhanger and leaving them wanting to find out more in order to entice them to watch the full film. This is why there is title screens of the film title and release date at the end of the trailer, in case audiences would like to go watch the film, so it sticks in their mind.